Okay, let's now see how it works to prepare the scanner to be used with Vertex Pro. So Vertex Pro is an evolution of Vertex, software to be used by more expert people. Let's say it gives more possibilities, more ways to control the flow, more ways to clean the point clouds, to align them, to build meshes, more parameters, more ways to edit a mesh. So yes, of course, you need to know what you are doing, but it can be used for getting better results. But of course, you need to know what you are doing. When we talk about the preparation, so the license activation and the parameters definition and the calibration at the end, there are no big differences between the two softwares, because at the end, what is the big difference is more how then we use the software, not how we calibrate the scanner, how we define the parameters. So let's start Vertex Pro and see how it works. Okay, the interface is very close. Okay, the first page has 4 icons. You quit the software, you enter the service mode and the setup mode, you load an existing project and you create a new one. So let's enter the options page. First time, of course, if you don't have the license activated, the software starts, this software, Vertex Pro, starts with a 30 days long trial license, which is a full license. It expires after 30 days. So you have 30 days for activating the normal time unlimited license, and the activation is done exactly in the same way we saw for the Vertex. This means that you go under the license manager, you fill the required fields with the required information, the scanner serial number, the company details, and then you can decide for the automatic online activation, or you can copy and send us the code, the registration ID you have here, send us that through an email, and we answer back with another code to be copied here in this field, the license code field, and then applied through the button, apply license code. Okay. It happens a few times in a year that we have to manually activate the scanner. Usually the automatic online activation works very well. The problem is sometimes that there is something installed on the computer, kind of firewall or something blocking the connection between the scanner and the remote server. If it happens, of course, the automatic activation is not working, so you need to send us that code. Or sometimes it also happens because this server is not managed by us, but it is a service provided by a supplier of us. It happens that if there are problems on the network or on its internal network, it doesn't work. So again, if it doesn't work, send us the registration ID and we answer back with the required code. But first, check if you have something installed on your computer blocking the connection between the software and the remote server. But anyway, in a way or in another, the license will be activated. And also, as I said, this software starts always with a 30 days long trial license, so full trial license. So you have all the time needed for activating the final license. Then we have other options. So the folder where we save the project, the suggestion is always to save the project on a local folder, avoid to save on a network. If we want to autosave the software, to autosave the data every 10 minutes, or if we type here 0, we save, autosave for every step, or if we turn off, we never autosave, so we can save manually when we want. If we want to acquire the texture, the color of the surface of the object, this software with this scanner is able to acquire also the texture. So if we want to do that, we turn on this option or we turn off that. the scanning time is a little bit longer when we acquire with color than when we acquire without colors. Then we decide the interface language, and then we can change the dimension of the icons, or we can go under rendering, and we have some options about the color of the point clouds, the meshes, the uniform color, or of the background, okay? Standard options, always not big options to be understood, okay? With this software, we have first time when we start the software on a new computer, we have to load the configuration file for the scanner if we want the scanner to connect to the software, okay? So we click here. This file is an XML, is an OPT-conf file stored inside the memory coming with the scanner, inside the scanner, the same one where you find the installers. It always has inside the name the number, the serial number of the scanner, and it is always .opt-conf, okay? You can load it in this way, or a copy of the same file is stored inside the scanner in another memory, so you can also download from the scanner. It works in the same way because we are talking about the same file. And then here we have all the information about this scanner. When you click on the OK button, then the software tries to connect to the scanner, okay? And when I'm connected, and everything works well, I have to see the live session, okay? If for some reasons maybe cameras are not connected on a USB 3 port, or projector doesn't have the required resolution, let's simulate it. So this is the projector, and we change the resolution. Then when we go and you see here the software is unable to connect, and the reason is monitor not connected or wrong resolution. So I know that I have to go and check the resolution of my monitor. Okay, when I put it back to the correct number, then here, okay, I'm already connected and I'm in a live session. So live session means that everything is working well. Okay, then here I have two other icons not enabled for this model, because here is where we can change the resolution of the scanner, but with this model, we always, and Vertex Pro, we always use the full resolution. And here is where we have the possibility to change the setup, the optical setup. It is something that is included in our Cockpit 3D, so a different hardware, the possibility to change the scanning volume. So not required for the EasyLab, and so for this reason, it is not enabled. Okay, so then we have the three calibrations because we have cameras, axes, and also here having the possibility to acquire the color of the surface, we can calibrate the color. Okay, here we have the possibility to define how much light we are projecting, the exposure time for the cameras. So if we want to acquire dark objects, or we can amplify the signal coming from the cameras. The target is always to acquire dark object, but there is a big difference between exposure and camera gain. The final result is always to increase the quantity of white inside the image, but you can also see in my live images that when I increase the exposure, the speed of the acquisition is lower because we leave the cameras for more time acquiring the light, but the image is good, okay? Here, when I increase the camera gain, the speed is faster because it's the same, because I don't change the time needed for acquiring, but I see more noise on the images because camera gain means that I'm applying an amplification to the signal coming from the cameras, and the amplification is on both components, the good signal and the noise. So if I amplify the noise, I have a bigger noise on my image. So when I have to acquire dark parts, I can increase the exposure or the camera gain, or both. The difference is that with increasing the exposure takes more time, but the quality of the result is better. Increasing the camera gain takes less time, but I have more noise. And also here, being in our calibration session, I can also zoom the images in order to see, for example, in a better way, the single targets on the plate. It is something used not so many times, but sometimes not with the new equipment. With used equipment, it is good to check the quality of the targets, because the targets are printed directly on the calibration plate, and if they are damaged, then we have to exclude them from the description file or change the calibration rate, because damaged circles means bad calibration. Anyway, let's come back to the calibration. The first calibration we do is the 2 cameras calibration. If we do that using the black calibration plate, we have to set the quantity of the light in order to see a good condition. Good condition is for us not a lot of red on the images. Red means saturation. So we have to stay in the middle between the gray, where the white is gray at the end, and where the black is gray. So in a situation here, you still see some black gray. So I decrease a little bit the light. I still see some red, but it is allowed. Okay, then we calibrate. Here we have to specify the calibration plate description file. So the XML file, including all the measured positions of all the centers for our circles. So this file is always stored on the memory coming with the scanner, the same one where you find the installers. Okay, so you load it, and you have to be sure that you read the same, this name here in this field, the same number you have printed behind the calibration plate. Then you leave calibration and you leave force. We can choose between calibration and recalibration. Recalibration takes less time, but we are going to define less parameters, not modifying the optical parameters. Force means that we are running a calibration, then the software compares the calibration with the last one done, and it decides which one has to remain. The suggestion is to always use calibration and always force, so we always go ahead with the latest calibration we are doing now. Okay, and then we do calibration. So for each couple of images, we are detaching the centers of the circles. You see that the software is finding all the circles. I'm doing nothing. I'm just looking at the screen. So the software, thanks to the 2-axis rotary table, is able to do the calibration in an automatic way. Okay, so I don't have to define positions or other stuff. Just wait for the results. And at the end of the calibration, it will be possible to see also the quality of that calibration, because we are always comparing the recalculated centers with the original centers and giving the remaining error. If I click on check results here, I can see the distribution of the error for each image. I have to see blue and green. Blue-green means error very, very close to 0. Green means a few microns. Red means more than a few microns, but red when it's at the boundary, and also it is only in a few images is allowed. And the important parameter is what I read here. The standard deviation measured on the Z component, it has to be less than 20 microns for this configuration. So when I'm at this number, I'm good. Okay, so if we go next, we confirm the calibration. If we go previous, we cancel the calibration. Let's go next. Okay, now we did the 2 cameras calibration. Now we have to run the rotary table calibration. Okay, let's first of all do that. So the software is asking for the cube. Okay, we place the cube inside on the table, and then we calibrate with markers. The scanner is moving, the software is moving through the scanner, the cube in different positions on the two axes in order to find the full description to be used then when we run the multi-view scans to acquire, to align, register directly the different points of view in a correct position. And as we said, we can run the calibration every time we want. The only one constraint we have is if we run the camera calibration, then we also have to run the axis calibration. If we run only the axis calibration, then we can go straight. But if we run the camera calibration, for sure, we also have to run the axis calibration. And then we confirm. Okay. And last one is the color calibration. This scanner is, with this software, is able to acquire the color of the surface. Of course, it depends, the color depends on the light you have in your room. So in case you want to acquire a good color, you click here. The software is asking for a piece of white paper, a piece of paper used for the standard printer. It has to be white. You place it in front of the cameras, okay, exactly in the position used for the black plate calibration master. And then you click on OK, and the projector is projecting the three colors, and so we are calibrating the color. But this calibration is not modifying nothing about the accuracy, the resolution, and the repeatability of the process. We are only defining the color applied to the let's say to the point clouds and then to the mesh. So it has to be done in case you need a good color acquired, and when the conditions of the light in your room have been changed a lot compared to the conditions you had the last time you calibrated, but it's a very fast calibration, okay? So calibration of the cameras, calibration of the table, the two important calibrations. First, you run the calibration of the cameras. Second, you run the calibration of the table. And then when you return to the welcome screen, you are still here where you can start a new project or load an existing one or leaving the software.